after going through a spring training, do you think the Texas Rangers can be better this season than they were last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like last year we left a lot of games on the table, and I felt like we really went out and focused on those needs that we needed. And I think, for one, it's the bullpen. I think our bullpen has been looking really good. The guys that we added, again, the offense is going to do what they do. And, same with the starting rotation. We just got to go out there and make sure that we cover our innings and give the team a good chance to win. But, yeah, I think we got a lot of room for improvement, and I think we filled those needs that we needed to have.
We talk about the rotation, how it is now, and what's going on, but just talk about this group, knowing what could be coming back this year, and just how this whole rotation will work as a whole collective unit throughout the season, if everything works the way you hope it does.
Yeah. Obviously we got to make sure that we stay healthy. That's going to be the main thing for us. But, you look at the way it was last year. We had 6-7 starters at the beginning of the season. Those guys moved into the bullpen. They became our long men in the bullpen. I think that's kind of the same scenario that we're going to be having this year. Each guy that comes back, there's going to be some moving parts, but it's just going to make the bullpen better when those guys, whatever decisions are made, down the road. Again, I think the main thing is us trying to make sure that we stay healthy, and we just got to go out there and pitch the way that we know we're able to pitch. Go out there and command the strike zone, get ahead, and try to go as deep as we can into the game.
I know you've started opening days before, but starting the last game last year and now starting the first game this year, coming off a title, does it mean a little extra for you to be able to do that?
Yeah, anytime you can get that, that opening day nod, it means a lot, and it's very special to me, especially coming off the World Series win last year and everything. So it's going to be exciting for the fans. I think we're raising the banner that day, right? And so it's going to be fun for everybody to be a part of it, and then just make sure, again, we got to go out there and set the tone. And it was important the way we started last year. We started out hot. DeGrom started it off, and I think it was like a domino effect, and everybody was able to follow in suit. So it's important that, again, we start out on a good note and make sure that we capitalize on all the wins that we can get.
Do you remember the first time that you saw Langford, and whether it was in college or here, and what are your impressions of how he's handled this spring?
Yeah, I remember seeing him for the first time. I think he was facing Heaney on the backfields in one of the live BPs, and just the adjustments that he's already made. When he first got over here, he was starting out, and he was kind of crouched down a little bit more in the batting stance and things like that, and just seeing the adjustments that he's making and adapting to the pitching. And we talk about hitters having to make adjustments, and he's really soaking in all the guys that are around him. And again, we got a great group. I think he was living with Josh Young and Nate Lowe in spring training, so it's Josh never turns it off. It's baseball 24/7, and it's a great group of guys. And again, we talk about pitching and having to make adjustments, and it's he's not just getting easy pitching. They're trying to figure out how to get him out, and he's finding ways to keep getting on base. He's working at bats and coming up in clutch hits. So I've been very impressed with the way he's handled everything. And we talk about the young guys getting comfortable. We want them to be as comfortable as they can when they get up here, so they can have that success that he's having. And he's going to be an important role for us, especially when we're trying to give guys other days off and let them be in that DH role. He's going to be a huge factor for us.
Nate, what's it like pitching in front of this defense with just the talent both in the infield and the outfield?
No, it's incredible. when you have that kind of an offense and defense, it makes it easier for you to go out there and do your job. You're not really trying to get, at least for me, I'm not trying to go out there and strike out everybody. I'm trying to go out there and get as fast of out as possible. And, I'm trusting my defense. And, if a guy gets on first base, it's all right, let's try to get a double play ball. And, our infield's one of the best. And like you said, the outfield as well. They can track down those balls. And, everybody's got strong arms and accurate. It's all around baseball, and that's what it takes to win championships.
The core of this opening day rotation has been together for a full year, and we've talked with you about your investment in them. How much, or how do you think the collective works together to make everybody better now, having had a year of familiarity with one another?
Sorry, what?
How do you think the collective works to make everybody better?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, again, for us, everybody's watching each other's bullpens. We're all pulling for each other. You know, when the game's going on, I think that's one of the best parts about our staff is, you know, a lot of the starters, pretty much everybody's outside watching the game. You know, they're not inside doing their own thing or going about it different ways. Like, everybody's outside and we're all involved and locked in on the game. And, you know, if a guy's going out there and he's dealing, you know, we're just kind of sitting back watching. But if, you know, like, he's starting to struggle a little bit, it's like, all right, hey, what's going on? Like, what pitches is he not using? What can he do better? And for the most part, everybody's really open about like having that open communication during a game. You know, like you can go over there and say, hey, I think you need to use the two-seamer a little bit more, or use the changeup, like you got good action on it, and you can make those little in-game adjustments. And Mike's open to it as well, as to where he's watching, and you know, if we see something and he agrees with it, like he's not afraid to say something to him as well. And I think that's what makes, you know, our rotation so special, is that we're all pulling for each other, and we want everybody to have success, but we can have those open talks during a game.
You talked about things that the team could improve on, left a few games on the table last year. Is there any, bullpen, things like that? Is there anything that you personally feel like you could be better at this year?
Yeah. You know, I feel like there's, each year you can try to find a way to get better. You know, I felt like towards the end of the season last year, my walk rate went up, you know, and I was giving up, just easier bases, and I just want to make sure that I'm attacking the zone better and, you know, really not shying away from any of the at-bats. I mean, it might be crazy, but, like, there's times, like, I'd rather give up a home run than walk a guy in a situation, like, just in terms of challenging the guy. That and then just my pitch usage. Just trying to make sure that I'm, again, mixing up all of my pitches and keeping the hitters off balance. I mean, it's a game of adjustments, and the hitters are going out there with their scouting report and their game plan, and you know, it just seems like everybody's throwing harder now and everybody's able to hit the fastball. So it's more important to make sure that I'm mixing up all my pitches.
Are you looking forward to watching the Michael Lorenzen bullpen?
Yeah, he threw one yesterday.
What have you seen from him during his career, when the times you've had the chance to watch him?
Yeah, I mean, last year he had a great year. You know, I mean, when he was over there in Detroit, he was one of their guys, and just the action of his pitches. I mean, he's a power guy, and he comes after him, and again, the changeup, the slider, very unique. And obviously the no-hitter last year, I probably caught the last 6, 7, 8, you know what I mean, 6th inning and on of that game. So it was fun to watch, and just, again, not shying away from any of that bats. It's attacking the guys, and it's, you know, it's amazing what happens when you work ahead. And you get ahead of the guys, and it's 0-1, 0-2, and or 0-1, 0-2. But yeah, you get ahead, and you know, you're making sure that you put him away. But I mean, he's going to be a big factor for us, and we just got to make sure that, you know, he's out there feeling good and filling up the zone, and just with the late signing and everything. So
I know you want to turn the page, but what are your recollections of Game 3 and then the curtain call after the 7th inning, and just that night and that individual moment for you?
Yeah, I've kind of touched on it before. It's when I come out for a game, and it's like you can almost sense the energy of the crowd earlier on. You know, I'll come out about 6:30, 6:35, and it's like trying to soak it in at that moment, but also trying to block it out at the same time. The crowd was electric that night, and I mean, we were already up in the series, and it was, you know, kind of up to me to make sure that we were able to win that series and be able to do it at home. And you know, as the game went on, the first inning, again, it's like make sure we're attacking and working ahead in the zone counts and getting fast outs, and I was able to do that. And then we went up in the first inning, and so from that moment on, it's treated like it's a 0-0 ball game, and keep us there, and or 1-0, and make sure that we come out on top. And you know, I felt like, I think going into that 7th inning, I was around, 70, 80 pitches, something like that. And I was, you know, my main focus is try to finish the game, and, you know, have that one long at bat at the end. And again, just hearing the chanting of the crowd, not really knowing exactly what they were saying, and then figuring it out, it was a very special moment for me. And you know, again, the curtain call, I've never had that, and I've only seen it done a few times for players just in person. So it was very special, and, you know, I'm very thankful for that opportunity.
So I want to get this straight. So you watched the last 4 or 5 innings of Lorenzen's no-hitter last year live on TV?
Yeah, you know, we get the notifications. I guess our game was already over or something. You can get the notifications across the app, and it said six inning no hits.
And so you tuned it in, right? And you watched the last. Does anything stick out from it? Like, in the pitching database, does anything stick out?
Not necessarily in the pitching database, but again, like you know the cameras and the views that they show of the dugouts, right? And so you can see how much the players were involved, and I think that goes to show like how good of a teammate he is. You know what I mean? Like there's times like everybody wants it to happen, but then I mean just the excitement, the celebrations on the field after, and it's like I think that right there goes to show like how good of a teammate he is. And I mean he hasn't been here that long yet, so it's but it's all been positive vibes since he's been here so far.
Hearing the coaches talk about your intensity in a bullpen, spring start, Bochy compared it to World Series Game 5. Where does that come from? Where does your intensity, your mentality kind of all stem from?
I'm not really sure. A lot of the times whenever we're going out there, it's like, hitters go to the cage, right, and they're serious about their work. It's like the only time we really get to practice is playing catch. So I try to have a lot of pride when I'm playing catch and like having a target, making sure I'm feeling my motions, my mechanics, just playing catch. And then when I step on the mound, it's, I got to make sure that I'm locked in and really focusing on the things that I need to focus on. A lot of the times I'll go into a bullpen prepared for my next start of the hitters I'm facing. So it's like having the 5 pitches, maybe there's times where a team's struggling more on a curveball than a slider, and I want to make sure that I'm throwing the curveball. I have a good feel for that over the slider because I probably won't throw as many sliders. So a lot of the times when I'm in the bullpen, I'll go through my little routine of things of the pitches to make sure it's like I got everything's firing on all cylinders, and then it's a game within the game, and I'm envisioning the hitters in the box and trying to make sure that I'm executing those pitches. So then when the game comes, it's hopefully it's not speeding up on me very much, and I can slow it down when I need to be able to make those big pitches. Everybody set? Good. Yep. Thanks, yep.